Next to me is a surprise car to the channel, and I guarantee it's something that you guys never saw coming. This is my new 2001 Jaguar XJ8 Executive Edition. Now, I've got absolutely no idea what would kind of distinguish this Executive Edition to a normal XJ8. From what I can see, there doesn't seem to be any spec differences or extra tech on this car. However, that is exactly what it is, and as you can see, it is finished in a classic British racing green, and it does feature more chrome than a rapper's grille. It is also a land yacht for the road. It is 5 meters long, which is an absolute boat, and it does waft you across the country in extreme luxury. Now, by far my favorite and the sexiest feature of this car is how the bonnet opens up the wrong way, and that does reveal the beast of the Jaguar XJ8, which is of course a 3.2 litre naturally aspirated V8. Now, it's not exactly punchy. It produces around 240 brake horsepower, which for a Jag I feel is quite adequate. Now, let's jump on in the interior so that I can show you my wood. Now, as you can see, I have got wood, and plenty of it. As this is quite a traditional spec'd Jaguar, I have plenty of what looks like walnut real wood across the dash, and even a wooden topped and bottom steering wheel. And it is all just very, very nice. Sometimes I like to sit in my Jag and just stroke my wood. And also, little other features we have in here, which I particularly like, is this analog clock face, which does light up green along with all the dials at night. And we have a cassette player, very, very cool. And as you can see, this car is an auto with cruise control and a sports button, which is quite hilarious for a car of this size and weight. I believe it weighs around 1700 kilos. But that seems to be about it for the tech front. We have electric windows, electric mirrors, cruise control like I mentioned, phone, which I haven't set up yet and I doubt works at all. But yeah, that seems to be all that I can say for the interior of the Jag, apart from just how comfortable the seats are. Finished, everything is just finished in leather and carpeted, and it just gives you that sense of luxury for the everyday person. It is absolutely fantastic. Now let's go for a drive, shall we? So welcome aboard my Jaguar XJ8, or as I will be referring it, the land yacht, because as you can hear, it is absolutely silent, and to drive, I've honestly never driven a car as smooth as this. It just absorbs all the bumps, and these seats, they're like being sat on my sofa at home. It is absolutely exquisite to drive, and you feel that exquisiteness with the quality of the materials here. As you can see, we have a range selection of wood and high quality leather. First impressions of this car, apart from its outstanding comfort, is just how long the bonnet is, and you can see it all the way to the very end, which is very, very cool. I'm also very aware with just how long this car is. It is absolutely barge-like. And as you can imagine, it doesn't exactly corner like a GT3 RS. It's got more body lean than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And for those reasons, I find it absolutely charming. It is not a car to set Nürburgring lap records. It's not a car to do 0 to 60 times in. It's a car to waft you along in enormous comfort and luxury. And I find this just to be such a cool car. I think it's the oldest car that I have purchased, and it's very different to the usual kind of car that I would purchase. There's no spoilers, there's no air intakes. It's just a very nice wafter. Now, although I titled this video, I bought the cheapest XJ8 in the country, there may be cheaper ones out there. I paid £2,000 for this car. However, ones lower than that have done higher mileage and just generally aren't in as good condition as this. This car has only done 85,000 miles, so therefore it is the cheapest XJ8 around that kind of mileage figure. Now, if you're wondering what a big 20-year-old 3.2 litre V8 is like on fuel, it's not the best, but it is honestly better than my RH, probably because it's a litre less capacity, but I am averaging 23 mpg, it says here on the dash, which is fine. That's absolutely fine to me. I think it's just such a wafter. And the thing with this car is, it seems to have calmed me down, right? So if I was in anything faster and I was stuck behind a Ford Ka and a Renault Clio, I would be raging. I would get out of the way. I would be about to overtake them on this straight in a moment. But in the Jag, I'm more relaxed. I'm more of a considerate driver. And I feel like a bit of a more mature gentleman, which is the guy who I bought this off. As you can imagine, he was an elderly chap. And he loved this car. It's been in his family many, many years. And I like that. The car's got a very good story. And now I feel I can just go ahead and continue the story and perhaps ruin it with my lack of class and the things that I will do to this car, which will come up in a future video. Again, another case of how mellow I am in this car. I'm stuck behind a cyclist, which are the menace of the roads. But in the Jag, I'm not swearing at him. I'm not beeping him. I'm not flooring it past him. I'm just relaxed. I will hold back. And when the road is safe, then I will overtake. I may even indicate, oh yes, I am a changed man in this car. Now, being a 20-year-old Jag, built by some bloke in the Midlands, you will expect things to not necessarily be working like they should. And there are a couple of things I have noticed. The air conditioning, for example, needs a regas, which on a day like today, where we've got this random ass heat wave, I am struggling a little bit. I am rather sweaty, so I do need to get that sorted ASAP. Other issues I am noticing, today when I cold started the car, I had a little squeak from the belts on the front. Now it didn't do that yesterday, so the car is probably falling apart whilst it's in my ownership. But it's just a little thing, and once the car is heated up, it went away. Now that could be the rather common tensioner pulleys that go on these. Fingers crossed it isn't, because I imagine that will be rather expensive. Now, as you can see, we are on a B road, so let's waft along a little bit quicker and go around these corners. Now, I have absolutely no idea what that sport button does, but I can assure you it doesn't affect anything to do with the suspension, as this car is leaning over to one side with each turn of the steering wheel. It's also, as you can imagine, not the most direct car I've ever owned. However, like I mentioned, it's not that kind of car. People that buy this car don't go around ragging it around the B road. They get it to waft them from A to B in enormous comfort. And that's what I'm really enjoying about this car. I may actually daily it for a while and retire my Vauxhall Insignia estate, just so I can enjoy these seats and this bliss, peace and ambience. Honestly, it sounds like an electric car. You cannot hear the V8 at all, but if I just hang back a little bit and give this car a little bit of a floor, so 30 miles, well, 25 miles an hour, foot flat. Now that wasn't neck-breakingly fast. However, 240 brake in this car feels quite adequate. It's enough. Now, I do feel something has to be done to the exhaust, even though that would be a huge crime for the Jag. I do feel when you've got a V8, you do need to free it up a little and hear it purr. Get it? Jaguar, purr, cat. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen, my new Jaguar XJ8, and I am absolutely blown away with this purchase. Fingers crossed it is reliable and not a common Jag, like an old Jag would be. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and of course make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you do not miss out on any of my upcoming content with the Jaguar XJ8, as well as potentially an exhaust modification, which I think is going to sound absolutely chaotic. Thank you once again for watching. Thank you as always for the support, and I'll see you in the next one.